Inside a snowflake, like the one on your sleeve, there happened something you have to believe. That's a line from The Grinch, and I am joined today by the Grinch himself, Mr. Jon Prettyman. Thank you for partying with us today.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. So when I think of Jon Prettyman, I think of unconventional marketing. Is that a fair description of what you bring to the table, the real estate table in Frederick County, Virginia?
Yeah, I like to do things a little different. I like to, stand out a little bit, do sort of against the grain. Certain people do the same things over and over again. So finding things to entice people is something I'm always looking to do.
Yep. So enticing, tell me about the Grinch, because when we first talked about it, I first saw it, I thought simultaneously brilliant in terms of
Thank you.
a way to stand apart. But I also pointed out that beneath the Grinch outfit, not everybody, and at least initially, knew that it was Jon Prettyman.
Yeah,
Walk me through how this all came together.
sure. Yeah. So a couple years ago, I thought it would be sort of a ironic play to dress up as the Grinch and go around and hand out gifts to kids.
What's up? 1, 2. Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys next. Yeah? Not even leaving, but it's pretty fun. I'm ready.
Thank you.
And I got a buddy of mine, and we grabbed a video camera. We went around and did that, and we had a lot of fun doing it. It was great success. Put a little video together, and people loved it. And this past year was my 4th year that we did it, and we had an unbelievable turnout. We put a little event online, and there was like 2,500 people that had registered and were interested in coming out. And I literally had lines of people coming to get their picture taken, get a terrible gift from the Grinch. Like, that's part of the other thing. These are not good gifts, but just sort of getting my name out there. And we did, this year was a big step up. We gave away a TV. So when you were out there, if you registered with us, we put you in a drawing, and then we gave away a TV. So big 55-inch 4K TV, and people loved it. And everyone's always asking me, even in June, people are like, "Hey man, when's the Grinch coming out?" And it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again next year.
So was the TV easy to give away?
It was easy. The first person that I called, I told them to come pick it up, and they just never called me back. And I thought that was amazing. Like, how do you not want a TV? But we did find a winner. And it's great.
Well, I think there are so many, and buts out there that when you get a phone call from someone saying, "Hey, you want a 55-inch TV," that sadly, people just are not as trusting as they once were.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird that they didn't want it, but we ended up getting it worked out. And the new family that got it, the daughter says she can't believe she has that big of a TV in her room. So I don't know. I put it in the bedroom. It's a pretty big TV.
My kids would love a 55-inch. So we need
bring
to
them out next year, Eddie. We'll get them. We'll put you in the drawing.
So your mindset the first day you dress up as a Grinch, though, was it strictly business, or did you just wake up one day and figured you had the hat, you had the outfit?
Yeah, part of that was I bought it, and it definitely was. I made it a point not to give away anything real estate related, because that wouldn't have been cool. It would have been sort of another stunt. It would have been in it, and it just didn't make sense. This past year, though, I was giving out, because it has had so much traction, I had QR codes and things for people to register. But to start it off initially, it had to be about giving it away. It just, that was the entire vision, was just give it away, give it away, give it away. And it's turned out to be a lot of fun. And actually this year, I got the local police department involved, and they actually arrested the Grinch. So that was a good part of Yeah, it was so much fun, and a bunch of kids out there screaming, "Free the Grinch! Free the
That's
Grinch!"
oh
It's
god.
great.
And so the 2,500 people that signed up, how did you publicize that? Because this gets to the to my anxious marketing side where I'm just like, I need people to eventually know that's Jon Prettyman. How did you publish that?
Yeah, I used it. I used Facebook events, and I just put it on there, and I shared it on a few local sites, and it's just sort of took off. The shares got really big. People got interested, and again, it wasn't anything real estate related. I think finding things that aren't real estate related that they can sort of find out we're in real estate as a byproduct is a cool thing to do. So that was sort of my vision with it. But again, I didn't think it would get as big as it was this past year, and it really makes me excited for next year because, I mean, I just like to grow it.
Yep. And so my wife is from the Philadelphia area. So when we are driving through Philly, you may have noticed they have these big billboard signs that say, I hate Steven Singer. And for years, I just always assumed it was a nasty breakup. But at some point, then, and this all predates iPhones, I believe. At some point, I must have had an iPhone and Jenny was driving, and I Googled, like, I hate Steven Singer. Here it turns out it's a jeweler that came up with the ad campaign. And I guess
Genius.
eventually somebody is going to uh, Google it and then figure it out. And I guess locals from Philly probably know that Steven Singer is
And again, that person took the
jeweler.
time to pull out their phone and investigate it, and there's something to be said for that. Like,
Yep.
it's
Gotta
not just
tie
a
it in.
brand awareness. They took their time to type in what does this mean?
Yeah. Okay. Another unconventional thing you do is that you have a big truck with your branding and your likes on it. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've sought out during when truck prices were amazingly high, a box truck that I could offer to clients, for if they bought or sold with me, they could use the truck for free. And that was basically the gist of it. Luckily, I was able to find some local sponsors, some lender partners, and some title companies. And actually, one of my sponsors is a nonprofit. It's Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which they give beds to needy kids. I don't charge them, but they're available. They can use the truck if they want. And again, it's all branded with all of our stuff on the side, and all the sponsors are on the back of it.
That's great. That's great to be able to get that use out of it. So you got it, I assume, during the pandemic years when pretty much everything was just sky high priced.
Yeah, I actually got on a plane at 6 a.m. and I flew to Atlanta, and I took an hour Uber south to
Okay.
Macomb, Georgia, and I got the truck. And actually, the funny thing, when I was sitting there, the guy behind the counter, I can hear his buddy whispering to him, "I don't know where the keys are." And I decided to just step outside, and I said, "You
Yeah.
guys figure this out." And luckily, in about 10 minutes, they found the keys. But then I drove that truck from Georgia back the same day. So that was a long day. But once I got the truck back, a couple weeks later, we got it wrapped, and it's been in use ever since.
Yes. Okay. And it is the plot for probably my favorite listing acquisition story of all time.
Yes. So where I have this truck parked, it was actually struck by another vehicle going down the road. And again, it's branded with my phone number. And so someone called me and he said, "Hey man, I just didn't know if you noticed that your it's got another vehicle all wrapped up in the back end of it." And I was like, "No, I didn't know, but thank you for calling." And we ended up chatting. He was telling me, he didn't know what was going on with it, but he said, "Oh, and by the way, we're thinking about listing our house." So that was kind of an crazy little lead in to a good story for a listing. And I didn't think the truck would get me listings that way, but it worked. And so, job well done to the truck.
This is even better than I remembered it. So somebody, I don't want to accuse them of having too much to drink, but
No, we can accuse them of that. The law
they drove their car into your
did.
truck and then left it there.
Yes. They
License
left
plates
on foot.
intact
They
and
left on
everything.
foot, and
Okay.
it turned out to be one of those Turo cars. So when I
Oh, I
called
see.
the owner, And I said, "Do you own a such and such car?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you know where it is?" And he said, "It's out now." And I said, "Well, it ran into my truck," and that was a whole nother
Yeah.
debacle. But it did get a listing, and that's what its job is to do. So, and people do love using the truck. I have rental forms. The insurance is covered. All they got to do is put gas in it. It's if you can find the lender partners to get that together, it's a cool little add-on.
Okay, so let's talk about. So we talked about the Grinch on social media. What are some other unconventional techniques you use to get noticed and meet people on social media?
Yeah, I again I like to push the boundaries a little bit. Some people may like shy away from, oh, I can't say profanity. And
Hmm.
then I say, oh shit, no problem.
Yep.
Like these are different things that are comfort levels for certain people, and some people don't have it. Again, is that unconventional? It's a little different.
Hmm.
It's not all about profanity though. So
Yeah.
the I don't know. It's finding different ways to make people maybe get a grin out of people, not always being about real estate. I did a video not long about with the Peaky Blinders, and it's the main character's going around and he's getting whipping people into shape, and I just gave him little labels of different participants in the real estate process, and again, people enjoy that. But it can't always be about real estate. I mean, we all have different lives that we want to do, and we need to speak that. I love to golf. That is something that I enjoy, being outside. I get away. Don't tell anybody, but I put my phone on vibrate, and that
Yeah.
way I can just sort of enjoy it out there. And but letting people know I golf is okay too. So if I do a
Yeah.
video of golfing, that's something of interest to me.
And hey, let's face it, people with money often golf, so it's not a terrible sport in terms of networking for
Correct.
clients.
Yeah, I actually the other day I played, and it was another realtor from the area, and he's a good buddy, and I'm a big fan of having agents friendly. That's why I joined different
Yeah.
associations, is because when I call them, I want that to be a comfortable conversation. And him and I had a great time, So it's a great place to meet people.
So you do a lot of great work with F card. Do you find that you get more than you give in situations like that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give, absolutely. You have to go out there and you have to talk to people. People can go to these networking events and just sit there, but you have to engage with them. You have to talk to them. I know that I've elevated my ranking, whether I'm on the buys, when I'm on the buy side with certain people, because they know that I'm bringing qualified people. They know I'm not going to waste my time and bring them not good buyers. So that helps. And they wouldn't know that unless I spent time with them. And so that's why I think that's real important to be in those local associations so you can know the other agents.
That matches my experience as well in terms of when I was a younger, newer agent, I felt like I am so damn innovative and I need to keep this innovation and these ideas to myself. And it wasn't until I got out there and I shared ideas, I recognized the magic is in the magician, right? So I can share my ideas. People can't be me, though,
Right.
that things really started to blow up in a good way for me. And I
Yeah.
also recognize something you said there. Sorry, I get excited. That you want to be that agent that people want to work with, and
Yeah.
not shy away from explaining that to your clients. You want to work with me because I'm the agent other agents want to work with. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I talk a lot about fun. I mean, people when they hear real estate in it and they're going out to buy a house, a lot of them maybe it's exciting, but it's not always fun. And even though it's not always going to be fun, I'm seldom on a deal where everything works out perfectly. There's just different little hiccups. Our job as agents is to help people sidestep landmines. That's the biggest thing that we're looking in, to make sure that they don't hit those. Um,
Yes.
but yeah,
Sidestep landmines. That's a great quote. I'm going to use
yeah.
that. Our job as agents is to help people sidestep landmines because they're out there, right? And would you agree that we sort of help them? I don't think predict the future is the right word, but real estate. I used to explain to clients that real estate is like buying and selling a home is like a long series of blind turns, and it's going to be my job to kind of go up there and peek around the turn and tell you what I believe is on the other side so you're prepared for it. And then we're going to make this blind turn together, and you will have been informed, and then we'll know which route we're going to go based on what happens. Is that
Yeah,
resonate?
I like to envision it as a bus, and
Yeah.
depending on my client, sometimes I'm driving, sometimes I'm riding shotgun,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
but we're usually riding around, and so when I'm riding shotgun, it's like, hey, don't go that way, because a lot of times we want to make sure people still feel in control. One of the things I do is try to talk people out of things. I want to make sure they're overcoming all of their objections. I want to make sure that they're thinking, hey, can I really afford this, or do I really want to drive this far for work? And those are some of the landmines, because I don't want them thinking about that when we're 15 days under contract. I mean, that's the last time I want them thinking about that. So those are some of the things to think about. And then inspection processes, financing contingencies. When can you do this? When can you do that? Most people don't know that you have a certain amount of days to review homeowners association docs, and it's our job to remind them of those things.
Yep. Those potential landmines, where the
Right.
landmines
You
might.
got it. You got it, Eddie.
Yep. All right. So to wrap things up, I'd like to talk about online leads, right? This is going to
Okay.
sound creepy, but you meet a lot of people. You hang out with a lot of people that you meet online. And it strikes me that you feel very comfortable. You're just easy to feel comfortable with, right? Where does that come from?
I think it comes from one of my mantras that I run with is just helping families. So most of my goals are not financially based. Like a lot of times, it's 50 families a year, right? If you think about your real estate business, if you were doing 50 deals a year, especially as a single agent, you'd be doing okay. You'd be busy. I think a lot of times people will be like, "Oh man, this family of 5 only can afford $250,000." I mean, again, that's an extreme case, but
Yeah.
they don't think that they can find what that family can afford or what they need, and maybe it doesn't exist, but
Mhm.
you servicing and helping out that family and building rapport and trying the best you can might lead to a referral from another person.
Yeah.
So and sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's okay too. I mean, that's a big part of it. Especially with online leads, people will call and, hey, I have an agent. I don't need an agent. Okay, well, what information can I help you with? Like you called me. And then even on outbound calls, if people hang up on you, I mean, okay, so what? Next, there's more people in the line. It's just doing those activities that is hard. It's not easy. But if you do the activities, you'll get some appointments. And that's what the other thing is look, not like I need to reach X amount of goal, but I need to go on 6 appointments this month. Like that's it. What would happen if I did that?
Yeah, so this sounds like it feels very natural for you. I can't help but think that your background in the restaurant industry didn't help you make the transition over to real estate.
Yeah, restaurants were sort of my college. I mean, of life, I guess, is what it was. It was a fast moving industry. Things happen quickly, and you also have to be able to talk to people, put out fires quickly. And it's about the service. It doesn't matter how good the food is. If you have terrible service, that's what you'll remember. A lot of the restaurants I worked at were most of it was based around service. And that's an important part. So I do, this is a long dinner when you buy and sell a house. It's a long night out, but we got to have a good experience, and that's what we try to do.
Yep, I can't end it any better way than that. Here's the vision, right? Imagine a long, grand, beautiful table, a white tablecloth, no lines, no creases, and perfectly seated. And you've got Jon Prettyman, the ultimate host, taking you through your real estate journey, guiding you past all these landmines. That's what you do. That's what you do, Jon. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been awesome having everybody hear your story, learn more about you.
Hey, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate you having me on.
I can't wait to do it again. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
See you soon.